Well, the current battle is over a legal dispute in many states. The media is saying there's no battle at all. It's just Trump being a sore loser. Joe Biden won. We don't know exactly what's going to end up happening, but based on my discussions and my personal opinion, it seems extremely likely that Joe Biden is the next president of these United States. Of course, as I mentioned in my previous segment, Rudy Giuliani does have some legal claims, says he has upwards of 70 witnesses, so we'll see how that all plays out. But in the event Joe Biden is our next president, do you think Donald Trump is down and out? Perhaps not. Well, I'm not sure I can trust any of the media at this point because this is, as Joe Biden put it, a battle for the soul of this nation. Jonathan Swan, a guy who clearly doesn't like Trump, mind you, says Trump is privately discussing a 2024 run. Interesting. Well, he's also being encouraged by people like Lindsey Graham, encouraging Trump to mount a presidential bid in 2024 should election challenges fall short. And even Matt Gaetz was asked, or when someone said, which Republican would you definitely vote for in 2024? Matt Gaetz of the U.S. House says Donald J. Trump. Frank Lunt says, junior or senior? I see what you're doing there. But it seems like Donald Trump probably will run in 2024. If these challenges don't pan out, we'll see how things play out now. But it's long been speculated that a 78-year-old Donald Trump would run again. He won't back down. So these people who think the Trump era is over, y'all are incorrect. Here's the story from Axios. They say, and again, grain of salt, President Trump has already told advisors he's thinking about running for president again in 2024. Two sources familiar with conversations tell Axios. This is the clearest indicator yet that Trump understands he has lost the 2020 election to Joe Biden, even as the president continues to falsely insist that he is the true winner, that there has been election fraud, and that his team will fight to the end in the courts. They say presidents are limited to serving 2 terms, but they need not be consecutive. Officials with the Trump campaign and White House could not immediately be reached for comment. Just because Trump is talking about running in 2024, assuming it's true, does not mean he's conceding defeat. It could simply be he's talking to people and say, what are our prospects for challenging these votes? It's looking good, Mr. President. Okay, well, plan B will be I'll run again. But let's make sure see, they're saying it's the clearest indicator Trump has lost. No, it isn't. I don't think Trump's that kind of person. I'm sorry. And I'm not saying that as a compliment. I'm saying Trump is obstinate. I guess it's kind of a compliment depending on where you're coming from. But Trump's going to be like, I didn't lose. You just stole it. You stole it. I'm going to run again and I'm going to win. That's what he's going to say. He's never going to say he lost. That's why it's funny. They say aides advising Republicans who are likely to run in 2024 are dreading the prospect of a Trump run, given the extraordinary sway he holds over millions of GOP voters. Even 4 years after leaving office, he could remain formidable in a Republican primary. The fact alone could freeze the ambitions, fundraising, and staffing of individual candidates and the Republican National Committee as it seeks to regroup and move beyond Trump. It's never gonna, mind you. They say, don't forget, on the day he was inaugurated in 2017, Trump filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission to qualify as a 2020 candidate. That to me doesn't seem all that surprising that he wanted 2 terms. I do think it's hilarious. They were like, Donald Trump never wanted to be president. He filed Make America Great Again like in 2012. He bought the website early and he filed for re-election as soon as he got elected. Pretty sure the dude wants to be president, but the media is full of lies. You see how they're framing this? The clearest indicator that Trump understands he lost. No. It's that Trump understands he's going to war. Now, I say it a million times. In my personal opinion, I don't think Trump's coming back from this one. I could be wrong. And that's why I always say, I don't know what's going to happen. If it was clear and Trump came out and said, Joe Biden ran an excellent campaign, the fake media was against me, but Joe Biden, you won, then I'd be like, okay, it's over. Because Trump is saying it is. Trump's not. And he can file all the lawsuits in the world. And he could really use lawfare, right? Like using the legal system to win this election. It may be. And this is what Rudy Giuliani was saying. I mentioned this in my previous segment. 450,000 ballots in Pennsylvania are disqualified because there were no observers when they were counted. And he says 70 witnesses have sworn to this. Supreme Court might say you cannot process votes without an observer because there were observers in other places. All votes must be treated equally. That's Bush v. Gore. That's what he's saying. Trump could win on a technicality. These could be legitimate votes, but they screwed everything up. Thus, Trump actually wins. Keep that in mind. But Lindsey Graham is encouraging Donald Trump to run in 2024 if he doesn't actually end up, winning the legal battles. From Fox News, they say, Graham said Monday he would encourage Trump to consider running again for the White House in 2024 if his efforts challenging the results of the 2020 presidential election fall short. Graham, from South Carolina, who just won re-election, appeared on Fox News Radio on the Brian Kilmeade show and said he spoke with the president at length Sunday. Graham said he encouraged Trump to continue his ongoing 2020 legal efforts, but also hinted at a future presidential bid. I would encourage President Trump, if, after all this, he does fall short, we just can't quite get there, to not let this movement die, to consider running again, to create an organization, platforms over the next 4 years, to keep this movement alive, growing the Republican representation in minority communities. Hear, hear. I'm all about minority representation and, expanding on the massive gains the Republican Party made, because I think we need political competition. We need people to argue and the best ideas to win. Graham added that Trump and Republicans should talk about economic populism and just basically keep it alive and keep fighting for the 2020 vote. Kilmeade asked, and run again? Graham replied, I would encourage him to think about doing it. I really would. Encourage him to think about doing it. Sure. Graham's comments come as some have hinted in the days after the race was called in favor of President-elect Joe Biden that Trump could mount a presidential bid for a second term in 2024. The Fox News decision desk called the race for Biden on Saturday after results in Pennsylvania and Nevada put him above the 270 electoral vote threshold necessary to clinch the victory in the Electoral College. Biden and Vice President-elect Kamala Harris have attempted to calm the public, insisting that all votes will be counted no matter how long it takes. It's time for America to unite and to heal, Biden said in a statement. The Trump campaign has filed lawsuits in several battleground states where Biden led by razor-thin margins: Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Georgia. Trump has not conceded the 2020 race, but sources close to Trump told Fox News the president would eventually concede and commit to a peaceful transfer of power if the campaign's legal challenges fail to open up a path for a second term. Donald Trump is not giving up his legal path. Okay, he's not conceding. But he could run again in 2024. He'd be 78. He would be, I guess, at the time, I think he'd be older than Biden when Biden got elected now. Biden's 78. But I think Trump would be a little bit older, I guess. I don't know. Listen, I think it's absolutely insane that we got a Joe Biden. But I will tell you, it was the best the Democrats could pull off, and it was thanks to Trump. Joe Biden didn't win because people like Joe Biden. Joe Biden won because people don't like Donald Trump. Now, and that I'm operating under the assumption that if Trump's legal challenges don't pan out, I'm not going to rehash the video I just did, but I did a whole segment on like Trump's legal path to victory and disqualifying, ballots that were cast that have now been disqualified for legal reasons. The point is, Donald Trump could run again. I don't know what that means for whoever ends up running in 2024 on the Democrat ticket, but I really doubt it's going to be Joe Biden. I think it may be Kamala Harris. I'm not entirely convinced she can win. If Kamala Harris had the ability to win an election, they would have put her on the top of the ticket and they would have given her somebody else. I don't know. But maybe they were hoping that people would vote for normalcy. That idea of Joe Biden and what he represents, the good old days of, hot cocoa and gingerbread cookies, Toll House chocolate chip, all that stuff. You had Joe Biden making her chicken parm and the dogs in the White House, they're all smiling. A return to normalcy. Right now, it's a facade. The thin veneer will peel away. They slapped over some wallpaper over the decrepit walls to try and convince people that things are returning to normal, but they won't be. And even the media is saying it. Trumpism. Whatever Trumpism is, sure. But they're thirsty. They will not give up. So even if Trump ends up leaving, they're going to go after his supporters and the culture war will continue. Something else is driving this. There's a lot of things driving it. International interests versus national interests, for one. Social justice versus liberalism. And I mean classical liberalism. It's not just going to go away because Trump loses an election. And that means someone's going to rise up for 2024. Maybe it'll be Trump. I'm not entirely convinced, though. I'm not. I think Trump has created a movement. He was an imperfect avatar of the anger and rage many Americans felt, and he was their champion. Now they have an opportunity to find a new champion, a calm, well-mannered, but strong and powerful voice that speaks to the American people, like Trump did. But look, Trump was able to get 71 million votes, even with his bad attitude. Think about what that means. The times they are a-changing. If you can find someone who's got the strength of a Donald Trump, but's got better tact, that, my friend, is a 100 million vote landslide victory. We'll see how that plays out in the end. I don't know for sure. I couldn't name anybody I think could actually win in 2024 anyway. People like to say Tucker Carlson. Yeah, maybe. Tucker is a professional talker, and he's got the policy. He's got the positions. He knows how to do it. That's why the Lincoln Project is saying it may be Tucker Carlson. But listen, for all the things you can complain about Trump, what would you complain about Tucker over? Oh, he's far right. How? If he comes out and says, I agree with many of these positions from the left, thank you, that was a really smart idea, what do you say to him? Tucker has Antifa on his show. He has leftists on his show. And he agreed with Cenk Uygur on a lot of points because he's a populist. What are they going to say? They'll come up with something. We'll see how things play out. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up tomorrow at 10 a.m. Thanks for hanging out, and I will see you all then.